Yo guys, what's up? It's Justin, back with another video. Now I put a poll on Twitter. Hit my pop filter. I put a poll on Twitter and you guys voted for, well actually it was a 50-50. You voted for hearing my paranormal experiences and a Sandy video. So you will get your Sandy video, but right now, just move that a little bit. Right now, here's some of my paranormal experience. So, before I was born, I never got to meet my grandfather. He died before I was born. And my mother would tell me that she'd be changing me, and she said I'd be looking straight up at the ceiling and laughing. Like, not giggling, not looking at her. I'd be just looking straight up at the ceiling and laughing. And she believes that that could have been her father playing with me. Could be. I don't know. But when I got a little older, I would say maybe 4 or 5, I had, and I don't even call this a dream. I really don't, because I don't remember dreams. But I remember this vividly. I was standing outside of my mom's workplace, where she worked at the time, and there was a Ford Taurus and a Honda Civic. I didn't know back then what they were, what the brand of the cars were. All I just knew was that these cars were here, but there was no one else around, and the building looked like nobody was in it. All of a sudden, a man walks up to me, a big man, and he looked just like my grandfather. And now at this point, my Uncle Frankie had passed away. So, I'm talking to this man, and he's just telling me, he's like, yep, he told me everything about you. And I'm like, who? And this is where it gets really weird, because I'm probably not explaining this correctly, but it was just me and my grandfather talking. And all of a sudden, like literally from the back, my grandfather's back, it was like my Uncle Frankie just came out of my grandfather and stood next to him and put his arm on his shoulder and said, yep, that's Linda's boy, my mother. And he looked at my grandfather, they looked at each other, and my grandfather put his hands in his pockets and said to my Uncle Frankie, that boy gonna do great things. And then a few minutes later, I woke up. But I ran straight to my mother and my grandmother and told them. And they were just shocked, because my description, I've only seen pictures of my grandfather from bus shots. I'd never actually seen him. I never actually talked to him. I never got to hang out with him. I never knew him. Just from pictures and what people were telling me. And that was just wow. That was my first paranormal, no, that was my second. My first paranormal experience was after Uncle Frankie died. And I don't know why, but I came out of my room for something. I don't think I was going to the kitchen, but I think I came out of my room and I was going past the front window, the window that looked out to the lawn, and I swear I walked by and I saw Uncle Frankie walk down the driveway. So of course you see it, you saw it, so you double back, and I looked out the window, no one was there. it was just so weird. It was him. Like literally it was him. Um Fast forward to, I will say, 2016, when I was living in New York. Where I was living, we lived in an apartment complex. So, but where we had to go to deliver the garbage, it wasn't far from the complex. So like you went down, I lived on the top floor in like one of the far right corners of the building. So I would come out from here, I'd walk down the deck, I'd go around the deck, I'd go down the first landing, second landing, and then down the steps onto into the parking lot. And then you could either just go up under the stairs and go to the dumpster, or you could go, which I called it the long way, through the parking lot. Sorry about that. um, I went up. I always went up under the stairs because I didn't feel like carrying a heavy bag of garbage all the way the long way. So I went up under the stairs, and I put the bag in the garbage. And while I'm at the dumpster, I'm hearing a hmm, hmm, hmm. So I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking around, and I look up. Now what I saw, I I can't explain it. I've never had been able to. I can tell you what it looks like. It had, give it right now. That's what happens after I drink tea. Start yawning. it had, it was in the shape of a boomerang. So it literally was like, I hope I'm doing this correctly. Like, it came down on each side and then came back up in the middle. So it was a boomerang. If you know what a boomerang looks like, that's what it looked like. And I'm just looking at this thing. I'm like, oh my god. But what made this different was it had jagged edges. Like the outline of it was just like zigzags. It was jagged, kind of like razors, like spikes, and it was going just at this pace. See how my hand's barely moving? That's what it was doing. But it was giving off like this pulsating hum noise. And good thing I was not the only one in the complex that saw this. So, and I'm a firm believer in supernatural and in UFOs. I there's too many planets, way too many planets to be for this to be the only one with life, intelligent life. But I'm looking at it and I'm watching it, and I'm just watching and watching and watching, and I'm just like, whoa. You see on TV when people say they've seen UFOs. I I never thought it would happen to me. I saw a UFO, an unidentified flying object. Now, let me clear something up. A UFO does not necessarily mean an alien. UFO is unidentified flying object, which means that if I take a ball and I throw it into the air and you did not see me throw it into the air, but it's high enough that you can't see what it is, but you see that it's in the air, it's a UFO, an unidentified flying object. So yeah, just wanted to clear that up. But I do believe in aliens too. Um, I'm jumping all over the place, you know. Um, the next experience, well, actually not next, but the next one that I can remember. I was 12, and where we lived, We lived in Plattekill, New York, and where we lived was nothing but woods. It was so nice being there because your neighbor was like a good ways away. Like it took they weren't like right next to you. You couldn't just walk out and go and there's your neighbor. One night I'm sleeping and I hear something moving out back. And when I say this is like a woodsy area, it's a woodsy area. It's literally backwoods. Like it's country. It was all a country area. And all I hear something moving. And at first I'm thinking, it's a deer. Nothing to be worried about. It's a deer. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm really listening now. I'm like, that's not a deer. What gave me the impression it wasn't a deer because it sounded heavier than a deer. And it didn't sound like four legs. You know, because there's a sequence to hearing a deer walk. It's one, two, and then three, four. I was just hearing two. And this sounded really big and really heavy. I don't know what it is, but I was not gonna look. Especially when I heard it walking, then I heard it stop and go. But it sounded like it was tired, like it had been doing this all day. Or okay, that was weird. Alexa started to I'm just laying there and I'm like, go away, go away, go away. I shut the TV off. I turned the lights out. I did not want this thing to see anything coming from my room because my first thought is it's if it sees this light, it's going to wonder what it is. I don't want that. So I'm just like I'm motionless and I'm just listening and it's going and then I hear it start to lumber away and it's crunching and breathing and it's real guttural and it's just like walking away and I finally got the courage to look and when I looked out I could see that it was definitely upright. I I believe in Sasquatch, you know, I believe in that. And I believe what I saw and heard was a Sasquatch because I was it was big, but it was bipedal. It was on two legs. And it was just walking. And I know and I what made me realize what I was looking at, its arms were swinging. And its arms were longer than any human or anybody that could be in a costume and it wasn't anybody in a costume. This was too big. It was just and it had hair. It was I was just like blown away. I was like and for years I didn't tell anybody. I told mom a couple days ago. Like I told mom Friday for the first time that I ever told anybody about this. And yeah, it scared the hell out of me. It was just amazing. And but all I said was, "Thank God he's walking in that direction because I don't want nothing to do with that." But yeah, I can't think. Oh, I well, I don't know if this is more paranormal, but I almost drowned. I had an outer body experience twice. I almost drowned the first time because our school used to take us to swim at the high school in Marlboro, I think it was, and they had a huge pool. Well, I wasn't good at swimming, so I just walk around and in the pool, and I couldn't tell you what I slipped on or what I tripped on, but I'm walking and all of a sudden I just lost my footing, fell under, I'm freaking out, and I'm looking up and it's like I didn't realize how long I was under. It only seemed like a few minutes, but all of a sudden my vision started to. I started getting tunnel vision. It started to get dark around the edges, and then just started to grow inward. And I'm like, oh God. I realized what was going on. And then the next thing I knew, I'm seeing myself being pulled out of the water, chest compressions being done, breathe, CPR. I couldn't think of the name of it for a second. And everyone's freaking out. And about the third time, one of the lifeguards that pulled me out took his fist and he just hit my chest as hard as he could. And that's when I came back. And I was coughing up water, and like I coughed up a lot of water. And yeah, that was when I almost one of my near death experiences. Yeah, that was one of my near death experiences. And then the next time I had an outer body. Well, no, that's not really an out of body experience. What could no, no, it wasn't. So I only had one outer body experience. Sorry about that. You know, this shit gets fuzzy. But yeah, that's my paranormal experiences. If I can think up more, I'll do a part 2 if you guys want to see that. If you want to see that, click like, and I'll hook you guys up. The Sandy video will be coming later in the day, so yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, check out my merch store too. I just added some new shirts and and more other stuff for you to buy with that. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.